Hey folks, my name's Ed Travers. My pronouns are he, him, and his. I'm an Anglican priest serving in the beautiful parish of St. Margaret of Scotland that sits on the ancestral and on the unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people. Gwe. So, as you know, I do a lot of pastoral care. I do a lot of counseling. And something that I've been noticing in my experiences lately, in my sessions, has been the number of people who are experiencing a form of burnout. They're really, really exhausted. They have so much on their mind. Their hearts are broken. They don't know which way to turn. The news that seems to be all around us is weighing on them, and they're getting to the point where they can't even. It feels like they can't move. They're overwhelmed. They don't know which way to turn. Now, in the discussions, oftentimes, yes, it does have something to do with the information that they are gathering, with the knowledge that they are gathering. We've got wars. There's suffering. There's human suffering. There's environmental crisis. There's economic downturns and inflation's through the roof, and there are lots of real issues for us to be concerned about. And when we absorb that knowledge, yes, we are going to feel something about it. But we have to be careful. And we have to be careful with the information we're gathering. And we have to be, not simply because of the information, but because of who we're getting it from. We need to be careful about where we're turning. So today's video, and we may see more of these going forward as I explore this more deeply, but today's video, it comes because when I turned on YouTube this morning, there was a clip from Lauren Witzke and Edward Stahl describing how they believe that Israel should turn control of Jerusalem over to Americans, or as they might say, to Christians. Lauren says, we're sending $14 billion in aid, and we're going to have American equipment and possibly American soldiers and da-da-da-da-da. What are we going to get out of it? She says, I've got my eye on the Holy Land, Jerusalem. And then she asks this question, why don't Christians have a right to that? Why don't Christians have a right to that land? And I swear, as I'm watching this clip, I feel like I've lost IQ points. I feel like all of a sudden there's a weight on my shoulders. I feel like, oh my God, people do actually listen to these two, and people are going to ask that same question, and that's going to be something that now this is disinformation towards Christians, and you can probably imagine all the different things that come up for me. But here's the problem. I couldn't stop myself from clicking it. I needed to see what they said. There's something odd, and I don't know. Like, it's possible that I'm addicted. I want to hear what they say because listening to them generates an energy within me. Maybe some kind of chemical is released into my system. Perhaps it's dopamine or some other thing that I'm now, okay, for some reason. It's like, I guess it's like driving down the road, seeing a car accident. You have to look at it. Part of me needs to look at it. That's an unhealthy part of me. And it's a part of me that I need to learn to control. It's a part of me that I need to be able to say, no. We don't need to click on that. We know how this is going to make us feel. We know that this isn't going to leave us in a better state. So let's leave it alone. Let's not click. Let's leave their mundane comments to themselves. We have the ability to say no, and we need to exercise that ability. Yes, it's important for us to understand what's going on in the world, but we have a choice as to who we are going to listen to get that information. And if the people we are listening to make us nuts, if they infuriate us, if it leads us into a rage, if it leads us into a place where we're in a downward spiral where we get a spike of dopamine, but then all of a sudden we end up crashing later, they're not worth it. There are other sources that we can gain this knowledge from. And what I would suggest is look for the unbiased sources as much as possible. I've got a big crush on Bo. I love Bo of the Fifth Column. One of the reasons I love Bo of the Fifth Column isn't because I agree with all of his opinions, though most often I find myself that I do. But the reason is that he delivers it in a way that I feel as though he's not trying to manipulate me into feeling something. He delivers it in a way that he's sharing his understanding of the information, but he's not asking me to become infuriated. He's not asking me to be filled with rage. He's not asking me to feel any particular way. And I feel safe with that. That's a good thing. So if you're feeling overwhelmed because you have so many different options and all the information that you gather, if you're feeling overwhelmed with the news that's coming out, yeah, we've got to know what's going on in the world. But I would encourage you to choose your sources wisely. If you feel compelled to watch someone that you know is going to leave you feeling angry, don't watch them. Like if it's a person, if it's a content creator, if it's a moderator, if it's a host of a media, if they're going to leave you feeling angry, if they're going to leave you feeling sad, if they're going to leave you, if they, not the news, not the information, but they are going to leave you feeling something, you don't need it. Avoid it. Avoid it. The news might already leave you feeling that way. You don't need the help of someone who pushes your buttons. Now, before we conclude, I do want to address that question. Why do Christians not have a right to the land? For the Christians out there who might have heard this and are asking themselves that same question, thinking, yeah, we should have a say in Jerusalem. We should have Jerusalem. They should cede over control of Jerusalem to us. You don't want that, because that was never what Christ wanted for you. Right? Jesus wandered around. He traveled. He went from place to place teaching. He went from place to place sharing. He went from place to place feeding. He went from place to place healing. This is what our Master did. We are to do the same. And if we find ourselves, like many of us are in our churches, where we have a building or a piece of land that we are now responsible for, it makes going out and sharing much, much more difficult. It makes going out and healing much, much more difficult. It makes going out and teaching much, much more difficult. It makes going out and feeding much, much more difficult. The building, the land becomes a responsibility. Ultimately, it becomes a burden on us that we were never meant to carry. Jesus never had a home of his own. It would have caused him, it would have been a barrier for his ministries. These things, these big, beautiful, massive buildings that we have, as gorgeous as they are, as wonderful as they are, as much as they mean to us as they do actually get in the way of ministry. And so for someone to say, why don't we have a right to this city? Same reason. It's going to get in the way of the ministry that Jesus calls us to. It gets in the way of the life that Jesus would ask us to lead. We don't need no city. We don't need no land. We are supposed to live out there. May the Lord bless you. May the Lord keep you. May the Lord's face be made to shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord's countenance be lifted up to you. May you always know the peace of being in the Lord's presence. And I pray, getting back to my original thought here, I pray that we are all a little bit more discerning about who we are accepting our information from. I pray that we are all a little bit more discerning about whose feet we are sitting at. Who is our teacher? I pray that None of us give up our energy or our time to those whose performance would tax us, those whose performance would leave us feeling overwhelmed, angry, or like we've lost some IQ points. Amen. Pneumoltus.